Something strange is happening to the economy in the United States right now, and many people feel it every day even if they cannot fully explain it. Prices seem high, jobs feel less stable, and many families are wondering why life suddenly feels more expensive and uncertain than it did just a few years ago. If you ask people what changed, you will hear different answers: inflation, housing costs, interest rates, or even technology and AI. But the real story is a combination of several powerful forces happening at the same time, and when they collide, the result can feel confusing and even a little unsettling. Let us start with what most people notice first: the cost of living. Over the last few years, groceries, rent, insurance, and everyday services have increased significantly. Even when inflation numbers slow down on paper, many prices rarely go back down. Businesses adjust to new costs and often keep them there, which means people feel like they are working just as hard but getting less in return. One major factor behind this shift is the change in interest rates. The Federal Reserve raised rates to slow inflation, which is a normal economic tool, but higher interest rates also make borrowing money much more expensive. That affects mortgages, car loans, credit cards, and especially housing. When borrowing costs go up, fewer people can afford homes, and that creates pressure across the entire market. Some people delay buying homes, others stay in smaller apartments longer, and many feel stuck financially. Another important piece of the puzzle is wages. In some industries, wages did increase after the pandemic years, but in many cases those raises did not fully keep up with rising costs. That creates a feeling many people describe as running on a treadmill. You are moving, but not really getting ahead. Younger workers, in particular, are facing a different economic reality than previous generations. Housing is more expensive relative to income, student debt still affects millions of people, and job stability has changed. Many companies are hiring carefully or restructuring as technology evolves. Speaking of technology, AI and automation are also quietly reshaping the economy. Some jobs are becoming more efficient, which can be positive for productivity, but it also creates uncertainty. People worrying about which careers will remain secure in the long term, and that uncertainty can change spending behavior. When people feel unsure about the future, they spend less freely, save more if they can, and avoid big financial risks. This alone can slow economic momentum in subtle ways. Another trend that economists are watching closely is the shifting consumer behavior. People are becoming more selective about where they spend money. Travel, experiences, and essential goods remain strong, but many households are cutting back on non-essential purchases. That is why some businesses are doing extremely well while others are struggling at the same time. It creates what experts sometimes call a split economy, where certain sectors grow fast while others weaken. There is also the question many viewers are asking right now: is this the beginning of a major crisis or just a transition? The honest answer is that it looks more like a transformation than a collapse. Economies move in cycles, and sometimes those cycles are uncomfortable because they force adjustments. The current shift appears to be driven by several long-term changes happening together: higher interest rates after years of cheap money, global supply chain adjustments, demographic changes, new technology, and changing work habits. Remote work, for example, has already reshaped real estate markets, city economies, and even small towns. Some large cities are losing residents, while smaller areas are growing faster than expected. And this leads to one more important point: perception versus reality. When people constantly hear about economic problems online or in the news, it can amplify anxiety even when some parts of the economy are still strong. In reality, some industries are expanding rapidly, new businesses are being created, and innovation continues at a fast pace. But the transition period feels strange because the old economic model people were used to is slowly changing. In simple terms, what we are seeing right now is a major adjustment phase. The economy is not collapsing, but it is evolving in ways that make everyday life feel different. Housing affordability, interest rates, technology, and shifting job markets are all reshaping how people live and plan their futures. And that is why so many people feel like something unusual is happening. The truth is, we are living through a moment where the rules of money, work, and opportunity are quietly being rewritten. And the people who understand these changes early are often the ones who adapt the fastest.